Well, Jose Mourinho obviously disappointed with the result, but pleased with the performance overall, he said, from his players.
Yeah, and I said that. He wouldn't have a problem. I think the Tottenham supporters had a bigger problem, certainly watching it. He's coming to this game and he's thinking, well, we're up against the best team in Europe. How do we stop them? We've got to stop thinking. Every time Jose comes to a new club, we're sort of in some ways expecting something different. That's what Jose Mourinho does. And he's been proved successful in the past. Not so much at Manchester United. Tottenham, we're still in the early stages of it. I think in Tottenham, and they were a team I loved watching, they were a team who pressed from the front with energy, who played from the back. Those two big things from the Pochettino era are gone now with Jose Mourinho. They don't press at the front, and when they play out from the back, they don't have any idea what they're actually doing. They just go back to the goalkeeper and he smashes it forward. Now, I said that this Tottenham team was gone. It was the end of a cycle with Pochettino. Either the players have got to go or Pochettino's got to go. Pochettino went. We know why, because it's easier to change one man than 7 or 8. But Pochettino was 1 or 2 players away, I think, from winning the league. I think Jose Mourinho's team has got now, if he's wanting to play the way he wants to play, which is not the way these players are used to playing, he needs 4 or 5 players just to get back to where Pochettino was. Never mind actually get to where Tottenham eventually want to get, big Champions League final, challenge for the title. I think they're a long way away, and I think there will have to be major changes in the summer for Tottenham.
Jamie said he thought that the players looked unsure about the way that they were going to play out from the back. But what do you think their plan was?
It wasn't really a plan. When you play out from the back, Kelly, you're either going to play out to one of the centre-backs, they split, you play out to the full-back, you try to play into midfield. And they did that, but it was almost like they did it because they had to do it, because this is the modern way of playing. But it just didn't look right. They were never comfortable doing it. The only time they had any success today, and it's not really a plan, is when Jordan Henderson got caught a couple of times in the first half and they nicked the ball off Gigi Wijnaldum, when they looked like something might happen. Yes, they had good chances, enough good chances maybe, you know, if you think about the Lo Celso one, I think he's got to score there. There's someone got to score.
Because I think Jose Mourinho recognised that if he'd have thrown his full-backs forward and left his 2 centre-backs exposed, they'd have probably got beat 2 or 3-0. He calculated, in a calculated manner, I think recognised that by keeping his back 4 together, waiting for those 1 or 2 moments was his best way of getting a result. I think he made us aware of that earlier on in the season in the studio, where he talked about meat and fish with Jurgen Klopp because Jurgen Klopp wasn't happy in an interview after. I can't remember the game, to be honest with you.
You said to me last night about West Ham,
against Man United,
about people don't want to see that type of football no more.
No, I think no, that's a different argument. I'm talking about the tactic today. I think he was meant, and maybe me on commentary, and I was talking about there'll be a change soon, there'll be an approach. You said at half-time, after 15 minutes he'll change it. But actually what he said earlier on in the season was probably giving us an insight into, no, he wasn't going to change it. That is the best way he thinks to beat Liverpool. But that's a different question in terms of whether Tottenham fans over a period of time will accept, you know, dropping deep and
Aurier playing at right wing.
Aurier playing at right wing back or right wing as he was today. You know, he got criticised at Manchester United. Jose Mourinho's had the part of the bus thrown at him now for 5 or 6 years. He doesn't like it, and I'm sure he doesn't like it because he's been one of the most successful managers. But I do think now, not dominating the game, I'm not going to change what I said last night about the introduction of, say, David Moyes, who has had a pragmatic
Would you think the
reputation.
Tottenham fans long term? I totally agree with you today. You probably had to stay in the game. They're playing against the best team in the world. But it's not just today. Tottenham have been getting results. Performance probably haven't been what they want. I've just said I think it needs an overhaul to get Jose's type of players in. But do you actually think now the real top team? You're talking about West Ham.
No, I don't think
a bigger club than West Ham.
I don't think now. I think we've got to a point, and we've seen enough of it, where I think 4 or 5 years ago we respected the team. We used to call these performances Mourinho masterclasses, by the way. We used to call these performances Mourinho masterclasses, not him. So let's be clear here. We've branded these fantastic performances in the past. I think the game has changed now to a point whereby with Pep Guardiola's introduction, I think what we've seen with Jurgen Klopp, Pochettino, all the sort of progressive styles of football, I'm not sure anymore fans are accepting, because of the money they're paying and the entertainment value, they're not accepting a pragmatic style of play. I think they want entertainment week in, week out.
Especially here though, Jamie. I mean, I played here and it's a difficult place. They want to see attacking front foot football. Think back to just over 2 years ago when Spurs beat Liverpool 4-1 at Wembley. I remember the game, I did the co-commentary, we did the third man with you, Gary, and I thought to myself, there's a massive gulf now all of a sudden between Tottenham and Liverpool. It looked like they could move on. Just adding to what Jamie said, a couple of players, Tottenham could go and win the league. All of a sudden now, 31 points difference between Liverpool and Tottenham. I mean, that's incredible, the turnaround. So you can't blame the manager. I mean, you've got to look at why didn't they go and add those players when they had their opportunity? And they are falling so far behind right now. And like you say with Jose, I don't know where, because he's not really a Tottenham fit. He's a winner. We all say that. We'll go back to reverting. Yeah, he's winner. You look at his record. This is going to be hard for him here because performances like that, they want to see a bit of style. They want to see the team get on the front foot. The amount of time second half where Liverpool were just playing out from the back and there was no pressure on the ball, that was what Pochettino was the master at doing it. And now I look at this Tottenham side, I don't know what they are right now.
But we talk about, and I agree in some of what you're saying, and I've loved watching Mourinho. I hate the fact that every team wants to play the same way if they do. I love the fact that we can come here and watch Jose try and do a job on Liverpool, or maybe try and nick it at the end. I totally get what you're saying in that it's an entertainment business, supporters. But do you actually think, forget supporters and entertaining, do you actually think you can't win like that? No, now, in terms of Premier League and the Champions, you want to win the top two. Forget entertaining people. Football's about winning.
No, there's two things. I think entertainment from fans is one aspect. I think players now are having a bigger say in terms of, I think they want a coaching programme that is seen as progressive and on the front foot. I think players want that nowadays. I don't think players are accepting. I think we talk about players leaders, by the way. 20 years ago they were all leaders in the dressing room. I think actually players now have actually, in some ways, a bit more of something about them in terms of they won't accept. I don't think. You saw Eriksen today out there. He looked disinterested in. He was not having that at all today, Eriksen, in that midfield. For me, I think
his confidence.
Whether it's because his confidence, whether it's because of his situation with his contract, but he just wasn't there at all. Now that could be a number of different things, but I genuinely think we're seeing less victories in that manner as well. Pep Guardiola, how many teams have we seen sit off against City's Pep Guardiola in the last 3 or 4 years and come off and do well? Not many. I mean, literally every tactic's been tried, but mainly they've been dropped back and basically try and frustrate them and go on the counter-attack. It's never worked hardly against Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. We've seen it work less and less against Liverpool. So this tactic of dropping deep passively does seem to be working less and less. Fans are accepting it less and less, but I think as importantly, players are not accepting it as a part of a coaching programme. They don't like it. They want to be on the front foot. They want to play, So
has Jose got to change then, basically?
I think he will. I don't know. Ultimately, I think he's changed his coaching team now twice at his last 2 clubs. He's changed his coaching team at Manchester United from his one that he had previously. He's changed his coaching team now at Tottenham. So I'd imagine he is doing different things. I think he said that when he came to Sky that he was reflecting on sort of different things in terms of taking a step away from the game. I think part of that would have been the perception of Jose with the media or with his style of play. I think he does want to change it.
I think he looks different when I see him half-time taking selfies with the ball boys. He was never like that.
He looks happy still. Even at the end of the game there today, even in his interview, I think he recognises that ultimately, look, Liverpool are a better team as well, by the way. And by the way, Mauricio Pochettino's Tottenham didn't do very well against Liverpool when they were playing front foot and pressing. So let's be clear here. We talk about front foot and pressing against Liverpool. Not many teams have beaten Liverpool at all in the last 2 years, and they've come up against all the best teams.
No,
this is a great side.
We're not talking about that. We're not talking about just this game today. We're talking about Jose actually since he's come into Tottenham. We actually turned it round to start with, got some really good results. But I just think actually going forward, I mean, I don't want to watch the same. I want Jose to succeed and to win games and hit teams on the counter-attack or that low. But I love watching different teams doing different things and causing each other different problems. So in some ways, I'm trying to argue for that type of football because that's what I want to see. Not want to see every team do it, but I love seeing. I love the fact that when we used to have Stoke in the league, people might say, "Oh, the football he played." Well, you try and go there and see how the top teams react when we went there as players, or how teams adapt to different things rather than teams doing the same thing. But the thing with Jose's team now and the way that he's set up, you're talking about them doing different things. I'm not sure managers do different things. They just
Those teams are less and less though now. Those teams are less and less.
That's what I'm saying. Of course they are. So what I'm saying, you're saying
Norwich,
about
Sheffield United have come up from the Championship and are playing football. I think that's.
They'll say Norwich are bottom of the league.
No, but they'll go back down playing football. But I think the fans will accept it that way rather than doing it a different way. I think that's what I'm saying. I think we would.
How long before the fans don't accept that?
Look, 5 years ago on television, we would have sat in this studio and said, if you come up from the Championship, you've got to be rigid, you've got to have a big man up front, play more direct, play on the counter-attack, be more deep. We're not saying that anymore. The fans aren't saying that anymore. The clubs that are coming up are not doing it anymore. The game has changed. It's changed before our eyes.
What we're saying is, if you're going to play like that, you've got to get a result. That's what we're looking at, which Jose did for years.
But he did say in his post-match interview that they could have nicked something at the end of the game.
Harry Kane as well, Kelly.
And they
difficult.
And they could have done. Look, but in terms of moving forward, there is a question about the style and the style that the Tottenham fans will accept, and whether or not Jose Mourinho's style it needs to evolve to keep the fans happy, to keep the players interested, and to get the results, because what he's been brought in to do, and did do for a while at the beginning, was close the gap on the top four and push for those Champions League places, also to try and deliver silverware for Tottenham. What's the best way for him to go about doing that?
He's got to try and get in the top four, really, isn't he? I mean, he's going to play the way he plays. He always has done that. And this is what I feel right. He's caught. I think Jose Mourinho right now is caught in a bit of a crossroads of how he sees the game and how he's trying to make this Tottenham team play. They're trying to play out from the back. It just doesn't suit them. And today, playing like that at home, and I know what he's talking about. We haven't got players. We've got a few injuries here and there. They've still got, apart from the young lad playing right back today, they're full of internationals. That's not a team that should really come and think we can't have a go at this Liverpool side today.
Do you not think this team's done?
This Tottenham side?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? The owner won't want to buy players, though.
What I'm talking about, how close they actually are now. Forget, we're talking about Mourinho's how it was set up different from Pochettino, but in terms of actually, I think this team sort of just got to sort of the top of the mountain, if you like, and just fell off the cliff, really, in some ways. And it wasn't, I thought they were quite fortunate to get the Champions League final. You need fortune, we know that. But they lost that game at Burnley, I think it was the end of last season, and it was sort of, there was no chance of them really challenging for the league. And they were never the same then. Forget the style of football, I was under Poch. I actually think this team was... I love them. I love the players. I love the manager beforehand. I love watching them play. But they got so close to the title in the Champions League, it was almost like we're not quite good enough. I don't think we ever thought they were good enough. We always felt there was probably one or two real world-class players stopping them. And it just feels like everything's just dropped. And I just think it needs a big overhaul.
You talk about playing out from the back. It's impossible to play out from the back when you've got a narrow back four. Your narrow back four defending is fine, but they were narrow in possession. You can't be narrow in possession when you're playing out in the back four. You also had, to be fair, Aurier playing right side of midfield. And if one of your midfield four in a 4-4-2, which effectively it was, is not comfortable in the position that they're actually taking up, it can destroy the whole flow of it across the midfield. So I was critical at times in that game of Eriksen and Winks not being able to get on the ball. But actually, I'm not sure the team's in the right shape to be able to dominate possession, because the back four was so narrow, you're never in a position to be able to... You've got to split your centre-backs, you've got to push your full-backs there, you've got to get your sort of pockets occupied by your wide players if you're playing a 4-4-2. You've got to split your strike. You've got to pull one in. You've got to do different things. You've got to go into an attacking shape. And I think today Tottenham got into a defensive shape, but then weren't able to move into an attacking shape that enabled them to be able to dominate possession. And that was a problem. They were never set up to keep possession. And they had two players in midfield, three players in midfield if you put Dele Alli in there as well, that actually are possession players.
Yeah, no, I agree. But just going back to your point, though, Jamie, about if they're going to have an overhaul, hundreds of millions of pounds that's going to cost, and that's not really what Daniel Levy wants to do, and I don't think that's going to happen.